Exactly. This is the thing, man. You start using these like Xerox and all that stuff. You start using them as like
we can
talk about that too.
like saying like
Kleenex.
like Kleenex or Jeep.
Yeah.
Q-tip.
You know, Jeep.
Yeah,
Q-tip. Q-tip probably got in trouble for using Q-tip, or maybe not. I don't know. All right.
He spells it differently, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. All right. So, Len, we all ready here? So 3, 2, 1, boom.
Welcome everyone to another wonderful episode of Everything is Personal. As always,
personal.
My
He's doing the echo. I'm doing the delay.
The lovely John Small. You stepped in your own intro. Look at that. John Small.
Thank you, Len. Really thrilled to be here. Excited about our guest today.
What's up with the sound effect? I was waiting.
Oh, sorry. Oh, my bad. By the way, I got to get new sound effects. Maybe we should take that. Wait, this is so unprofessional. Let's just take it all over again. Okay, from the top, Tommy.
No, it's funny this way.
Okay, it's better this way. All right, the lovely. I'm gonna rewind tape for the lovely John Small.
There you go.
All right, thank you, Len.
We're
it's
on.
So great to
Perfect.
be here today.
Yeah, man. I'm super excited. Okay, I'll tell you, not only because you're on, obviously, because I'm always excited to see you, but man, we have a really special guest with us. I'm not even sure that I can give the intro justice, so I'll let our guest introduce himself, but I'll do like a really brief introduction. So we have Mr. Josh Holland on, who is not only a biohacker, who is a fitness and nutrition kind of expert, but also works with a lot of celebrities. I'm not name dropping for you. You can do that yourself unless you permit me to do so. But I was also honored to be on Josh's podcast, and we'll talk about that for a little bit. But Josh, welcome to the show.
Welcome, Josh.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate it. I love the back and forth with the intro because, you know, my having my own show, which Lynn was a part of as well recently. I understand how it goes, and sometimes it's best to just leave it as it is and, you know, roll with the punches.
Pull the curtain back on the show.
We're not that professional. We're just stumbling all over ourselves, but I think it's fun. It's just John and I having a conversation, and you're part of our conversation. That's all.
Absolutely. So I'm happy to be here. Thank you, gentlemen, for having me. Thank you for taking time out of your busy days to have me come on and you know, ramble and rumble into this conversation. But yes, I you know, as you mentioned, I in fact, Lynn, I love how you kind of stumbled over, you know, biohacker and fitness expert and, you know, and things of that nature, because part of what I try to do, I set out to try not to be pigeonholed into one category of things that I do. And I don't know how much you've looked into some of the other things, the other interviews I've done, but I make a point to make it that way. So it kind of puts a smile on my face when a person is like, well, wait, what is it you do? That's by design.
Yeah,
that's good.
So what do you do?
Yeah, good question.
Besides the stuff that I just said, because I stumble over it. What do you do?
Yeah, so that's an easy lead in. Okay, so basically, I spend my time researching and experiencing as much as I can within the health, wellness, fitness, lifestyle, and biohacking fields. And that's one of I think biohacking right now is one of those saturated and overused terms, but it is a good term to sort of describe what it is I do in a nutshell. Right. But, you know, at the end of the day, what you also alluded to is I work with a lot of celebs and high profile people. And the importance of mentioning that is not to look cool or sound cool or anything like that, but it's just to let people know the amount of care that it takes, the amount of professionalism that it takes, the passion that lies within it, because obviously the celebs and high profile people can work with anyone. They have the means and resources to work with anyone. And so why do they choose to work with people like myself doing what I do? And it's because of the care, the diligence that I take to research the things that I do. And so, you know, and we can get into that. I know you guys are into music, and so we can talk about maybe some of the clients that I work with in those ways. And obviously, because I'm bound by NDAs, I can't really go into too much detail on what I do, but I'm happy to talk about whatever you guys want when it comes to these things.
I want 10 names right now.
Well, there are a couple that you have on, Instagram and stuff on social that you've already shared.
So there's some you're allowed to share.
Yeah, I mean, listen, let's put it this way. I can mention whoever I want, because it's not that the NDAs don't keep me from saying who I work with. It's just really about not revealing too much about what they do and their things like that, as you know. So one of the reasons why I'm here in LA as we speak is because I've been based in New York for the past 16 years, and COVID has really sort of shifted everything. And so I was working with my company System Fit, which is still barely running, but we had to shut down the studio, and I was sort of left without a job, so to speak, although I do have my private clients and my personal side of the business. But I have to also look out for all of the trainers that work with me, and I got a call from Madonna, who I had been working with for ever since 2008. Wow. And, it was off and on, being that I had my own company and my own business. And every time she would be in New York and she needed my help, it would she would reach out to me, or it wouldn't even necessarily always just for work. It would be sometimes just to come and hang out. And the level at which I work with clients, it allows for more of just a working relationship. It almost becomes like a family. It becomes more like a friendship. And so when it came time for this pandemic, she was at the point in her career where they had to cancel the last 2 weeks of her recent tour. So when she was sort of forced to come back to New York to hunker down for the pandemic, it was like, hey, I need to reach out to some people that are close enough to me to want to quarantine with me, for however much time. And of course, because she quickly pointed out to me, well, Josh, you don't really have much going on anyway, do you? And I'm like, no, I don't. So I said yes. And that turned out to be very eye-opening for me, because I was asked to do things that I don't normally do, and I feel like the entire group of us, we were all quarantined together, which means we were all very safe. And we did actually quarantine because we were all tested and things like that. But, I was doing much more than just fitness training. I was essentially a Manny, if you will, whatever that means. And so that was really cool, because someone at her caliber, at her level, it's all about respect. And so she wouldn't have me do something that she hadn't done already. I mean, and this is someone who's an icon, who's changed the name of the game many times over. So to be a part of that, and to have a glimpse and be able to have conversations day in and day out, and then to have her respect me enough to ask me, hey, what do you think I should do about my pain or my issues or whatever? I'm just thrilled to be a part of that conversation. And that doesn't happen with just her. That happens with all of my clients. Right. So anyway, I have a very important question. Did you happen to give her an ozone treatment as well as you did with me? And maybe you can describe that. I'll describe my experience from my standpoint. Let me just say it this way, John. It took me 2 days to fully recover from that. I'm not saying that it was a negative experience. It was just a completely odd experience I've never ever had before. Yeah. Let's just put it this way. I think I'll say it this way. I will allow any and all of my clients to experience ozone.
There you go.
Can we explain what that is? Because I don't know what that is.
Please.
Yeah, because I guess for people, I want people to know that I'm not a doctor, and I don't administer ozone to people via injections. But what I will do is allow them to. So I have here behind me, I have my ozone machine that you can do many different types of insufflations. And insufflation is basically just a way of administering the ozone gas into the body. So via the nose, which would be a nasal insufflation, or the ears. I mean, I don't know how deep you guys want to go into this show, but you can
go deep, man.
I don't know what else. I'm thinking of the other orifices you could put it
all
in.
of them, all of the orifices. Yeah.
All right. Well, and we can stop at that, but yeah.
And I am one to say that again, I won't have any of my clients do anything I wouldn't do. And so I've administered in every orifice on my body. So, and some of them are interesting.
Like an ozone colonic in a way.
Well, yeah. And then after Josh did his, then he administered mine orally.
No.
Yes.
Don't even go there. Can we? This is
all right. Rewind this. Cut this out. It's not part of the show.
Yeah. All right. So here's the thing. Rectal insufflation, what you just alluded to, John, is an amazing. It's probably the most. It's the closest effectiveness to IV insufflation or an IV ozone treatment, and it's about a 95% as effective as doing it via IV. But it's a much easier way of administering it at a high level. So I find that to be much more interesting because, again, I'm not going to have a phlebotomist come over every day or every week, nor would I want to subject any of my clients to doing that. But what I can do is say to a person, hey, if you've got any kind of ailment that you're wanting to work through, especially when it comes to like digestion or any kind of virus overload or any bacteria related issue, we can use ozone, and ozone has been shown to be very effective for a lot of different ailments. And basically, just to kind of go into the science a little bit, ozone is O3. And we know oxygen being O2, so 2 oxygen molecules, but ozone is O3, so it's 3 oxygen molecules. And it becomes very unstable, and it's that extra molecule starts to float around and looks for things that it can either attach to or destroy. And I treat it sort of like, I like to explain it similar to that of exercise, in that it creates a hormetic effect within the body. That hormetic effect is another analogy to use there, is sort of what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And so with ozone, like you experienced, Lynn, you said you kind of felt, you could say it like you felt kind of shitty for, a couple of days or whatever that feeling was.
I felt shitty for day one, really shitty. And day two, I felt better, but still not 100%. And if I can describe my feeling on that, it was sort of this, it's very difficult to describe. It's an uneasiness. So there's in my nasal cavity, it felt like there was something there that was, and Josh, you told me that stuff that's trying to come out. So I'm not gonna, you can talk about that a little bit more, not the big reveal, but it made me feel like everything was, it was like my nasal cavity was tickling, and I wanted to sneeze. And it was just like my head felt a little fuzzy. So that's sort of the feeling in it. And then physically, I felt like that too, a little bit sluggish for a couple of days. So that's my feedback on it.
Yeah. And one thing I think that is important to point out is what you experienced with me, Lynn, is I always make sure that a person understands fully what they're getting themselves into, right? Mm-hmm. Because I've been there myself, I've done it myself, but then I've also experienced it enough with other people to be able to say, hey, look, this is probably what you're going to feel. Yeah. So when it comes to you feeling that, don't be afraid, or, don't worry, because it's very normal. And I always feel like if I explain that first and foremost, I sort of mitigate any worry. Mm. Now, I know the worry is still there. I know the worry is still there.
I did Google. I got deep down in the WebMD and everything else to see, holy shit, there's something called ozone poisoning. Do I have that and all that? But no, I was cool, because it's a similar conversation that we have with people that consume cannabis. You may have an adverse event, but don't worry, because nobody's ever died from it. So
exactly. So because of even my experience in the whole cannabis world, and we can obviously talk about that. Yeah. That's also something that I figured, okay, I was eased out of the worry in the cannabis world. So let me do what I can to ease other people out of this ozone thing. And for sure, one thing that people should notice, especially when they're listening to this right now, you can go and you can start Googling, and it's for sure that you should not ever inhale ozone directly. So inhaling of the ozone is what we did with you, Lynn, was via olive oil. So you need some kind of oil carrier to be able to create ozonides so that you're breathing in ozonides instead of direct ozone, because ozone is way too harsh for the lung tissue. So this is what people are going to see when they Google, like, okay, well, should I inhale ozone? No, you should not, because it would be bad. But also depending on how much gunk you have in your nasal cavity or in your chest or whatever you're trying to get rid of, like I said to you, Lynn, is be prepared for it to come up. So wherever this mucus has been hiding, this bacteria likes mucus. It likes to hide into the mucus. It likes to hide into the crevices throughout the nasal cavity and the chest. Ozone is going to go in and find it. Like, what's up? I see you, right? And it brings it up. And so then I always encourage people to blow your nose, to cough up whatever is coming up, and you're probably going to get phlegm for a couple of days. And Mariah was here with us that day too, and she was like you, but maybe worse. And she's done
I know.
it.
We've been texting back and forth. Like, are you poisoned too, just like me? He's like, yeah. I think
we're talking about Madonna. Are we talking about Mariah Carey here or no?
No.
Okay.
Oh no. My content creator. Her name is
okay. Just you know, I mean, we're dealing with a big time trainer here. So make sure I'm not talking about Mariah Carey.
But what I will say is back to that point I made earlier. Like, anybody that is around me, especially, okay, when this terrible pandemic hit, people who know me immediately called me and was like, bro, what should I have? What should I get? Right? I won't make any claims and whatever. But one of the couple of things that I would say to have in your kit, to always have with you, no matter what, is a nebulizer, food grade hydrogen peroxide, normal saline, which is also known as medical grade saline, and ozone. Any kind of like ozone setup you can get your hands on. I have, the professional medical grade ozone machines, but you don't have to go that far, or at least have access to someone that has it. And I myself, I've done 10 pass. I've done many different types of ozone insufflations where you do get injections, and it's difficult your body doesn't always accept the ozone IV. That I have to say, and I've experienced it myself, where my vein has like blown up to the size of a small balloon. Jeez. Not a balloon, but like a little like drug balloon.
Yeah. I don't know. I have
like
no idea what you're talking about.
Like a mule might put,
John knows. I don't know.
Speaking about orifices, like a mule might stick in their orifice. Okay.
Right. Exactly. Okay. And so that being said, when I had a group of people who were worried about this virus floating around, I was probably one of the first calls a lot of people made. And that's because I'm able to at least help show them what I do. And then if they choose to do that, then I can show them how to do that on themselves as well. And so that's the idea. There's a lot more we could talk about when it comes to all this stuff, but these are the things that I like to talk about, because what got my claim to fame, if you will, is me being a fitness trainer. But we haven't talked about anything movement or fitness yet, right?
Yeah.
And so it's what got me into the door. But then when people started to really understand that, like, wait a minute, because of social media, because of word of mouth, because of the things I've done for other clients, people are like calling me, and they're texting me, they're DMing me, and they're like, and now that I have a podcast, I can start to talk more about these things. And so now it's opening up the question, which is the idea of me being a holistic trainer. That's what I ultimately am, a holistic coach, whatever you want to call that.
Perfect. So there's a couple of other questions that I had. There was also a helmet with lights on it. So I wanted to just, since you're going over your tricks and interesting gadgets that you have, maybe you can talk to us about that thing.
Oh, wow. He's showing it. That's cool. Like a speed racer.
Yeah. This is the laser helmet, the Weber laser medical helmet, or Weber medical laser helmet. And there's a lot of research in the field of photobiomodulation, which is a scientific or fancy word for basically light therapy. And I assume we all know there's many different spectrums of light, and we as humans can only see a small bit of the light spectrum. There's so many types of light. Like for instance, we can't see X-ray light, and but there's and also like microwave lights and things like that, but we can feel them. And what we can do with this helmet is we can direct the light, laser